G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the west side of the map, playing as the Ottomans in the colour red. It's Wanted SAS. And spawning in on the east side of the map. As the French in the colour yellow, ladies and gentlemen, it is Don Arty. Now, I'm not going to say his name because, well, you guys know the rules. YouTube, demonetization, all that kind of thing. And we've got a classic Don Arty opening. Now, Don Arty actually sent me a message and he said, Drongo, I've got a confession to make. You know those Voldemar games that you casted on your channel? The ones where he beat the Muslim, the ones where you were talking about him being a rising star? Well, that's actually me. And so, unfortunately, for anybody, you know, getting on the Voldemar hype train like how I was, time to, I mean, you can stay on it. You can stay on it. I'm still on, you know, I'm still holding Voldemar stocks at this point in time. But I will also let you know I have invested further. I've put in a further investment into Don Arty stocks. He's been looking good lately. He's been looking very good, those games against Demu. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we have today because we've got a classic matchup here. I say a classic matchup, but it's the French versus Ottos. And the reason why this is a bit of a classic one, I think classic's the wrong term, Drongo. You gotta switch that up. It's not a classic. It's interesting, right? Because this matchup is very difficult for France. In fact, I would go almost as far to say as it is very difficult. Did I repeat myself? I'm not sure. The point that I want to make is that this is hard for France because the Ottomans naturally want to go for a military school. So they do that and they start off with spearmen. That's all you can make in the Dark Age. And then what do the French do? Well, they always go for that School of Cavalry. It's very rare that you see the Chamber of Commerce. So the School of Cavalry is obviously only going to be making cavalry. So you've already got spearmen to defend against the cavalry. And so that's what makes it very, very powerful, this matchup for the Ottomans. The inverse to that would be something like the English, where the Ottomans matching up against the English, the Ottomans don't want to make a military school. Now, remember, they always want to make a military school, but against the English especially, you don't want to make a military school because the English player is going to be aging up with a council hall, which is an archery range that they get for free. And it's very easy for them to just click the button, make a longbow, and then all of your spearmen are just completely nullified. So you can see why it's so important in matchups like this to start thinking outside the box, because for Don Arty, he's already realized that, well, I'm going to have trouble here if I just play the standard style that we normally play, because the Ottoman player is going to have a very good opening, a very good read on what I'm going to be doing. And so Don mixes it up already. We can see there's a couple of spearmen moving out towards this position, and you can see that there's actually not enough gold taken off yet for Wanted. He's going to have to fall back away from this. Still needs 22 gold. Town Center going to throw out a couple of arrows, not a huge amount, and we do see the villagers now looking to get their shivs out. He sends 3 out to begin fighting in melee combat, and beautiful play by Don. Exactly what he needs to do. Never want to engage the villagers. In fact, you always just want to be doing this. Stabby, stabby, stab. That's all you want to be doing. And you can see that Wanted is just going to be taking the gold as much as he can. He just wants to avoid that idle time. Don playing it perfectly right now. 3 against 1 on the spearman. And remember, as a consequence of going for this early harassment with the spearman, Don says, well, you're not going to be coming to my base. You're not going to be going for any early aggression. And look at this. He's managed to take off quite a lot of gold. This is way more gold than he needs. Doesn't lose any villagers yet, but these are a lot of low health villagers. And remember, they're against the French here, and what do the French got? They got knights that charge in at a moment's notice. So very interesting play coming out from Don. And to be honest, I'm surprised we don't see more of this. I do genuinely think Dark Age harassment is very strong. Because going for this Dark Age harassment, not only, obviously you delay yourself, but you do delay your enemy as well. And that's going to be the key factor here. We can already see we're at 4 minutes and the Twin Minaret Madras has only been dropped down recently. And it gives Don the advantage because now he doesn't have to deal with the spearmen on his gold mine. He doesn't have to deal with the spearmen attacking his cavalry that will inevitably get there. He's already taken out 1 spearman and he maintains control in the early game. Very, very big brain move once again from Don Arty. And I just love the way Don Arty plays. You know, I genuinely think if Don Arty played a little bit more than what he does, because he's very inactive, he could 100% be a top 10 player. And I think it was disappointing for both him and for a lot of Don Arty fans. You know, I'm in that school. I'm in that camp, I should say, rather. I'm probably, if Don Arty opens a school, I'll be right there as well. Speaking of schools, if you're interested in getting some coaching, check out the Patreon. Link in the description. Plenty of coaching content out there. None from Don Arty, though, unfortunately. I'd love to have some Don Arty coaching. But yeah, I think if he played more, he'd be a very, very, very solid player and entering top 10 quite regularly, I suspect. But yeah, I think after the Wallalol and what happened, if you are aware of what happened in the last chance qualifier, he played against a guy by the name of Garneth. Now, I'm not gonna shill any conspiracy theories here, but let's just put it this way: Garneth played incredibly well, much better than many expected. And Donati, I think he lost like 3-1 or something like that to Garneth. And I will just say that was at the time that B had actually been banned from the Wallalol, and B is in the same clan as him. So there were some suspicions. Let's just put it that way, that Garneth wasn't actually the one on the account. But anyway, we move forward, we move on. Donati, you know, he bites the bullet and he keeps playing on, because there's other things that will always emerge. And we've got a new tournament that's coming up. Of course, Golden League number 2 is happening. And Donati definitely going to be putting his best foot forward for that, I'm sure. There's a pretty decent prize pool going forward for that. And look at this from Don, already opening with the classic GUA 111 build order that we see here. Archery range, stable, and a barracks. Over on the other side of the map, though, what's Wanted up to? He's just chilling for the moment, throwing down an archery range himself and looking to probably play a standard style that we do see out of a lot of Ottoman players, which is going to be the heavy archer influence. First Vizier point going to be coming in. Expected to be... I did not expect it to be that. Get out of town. Wow. Okay. It looks like it's going to be Anatolian Hill, something that we haven't seen in a long time. Now, I do like this wall coming through on the backside as well. This is a really smart wall. It's going to be defending this hunt. Also going to be preventing any raids on this backside. It's going to allow Wanted to really focus on the front of his base, and just guarantees the integrity of his villager line. Ideally, you'd like to see a wall even come up, probably not that close, maybe even something around the stone mine or something like that, because he probably will want, you know, you kind of want to take that stone mine, keep it for yourself. But the first of the knights is out, and we do see behind this, Don's also going to be looking to pick up the wheelbarrow upgrade. So a nice little upgrade there for him. Also moving out over onto a hunt for villagers, out over onto this hunt on the northeast side of his base. He's got another one that's in the back, but in classic Don style, he doesn't scout the map. He doesn't care. Donati cares about one thing, and that is his enemy. Very, very aggressive player. Notoriously aggressive, almost. Stable going to be coming up here as well for Wanted. Looks like, is that stable within the range? I think that's stable. Oh my god, oh, he just gets it. Look at that, right on the corner. Beautiful positioning there from Wanted. Yeah, I got to agree. I don't know what you said, lady, but I agree. Is it a female? No. I thought it was a female archer, but maybe it was just... Oh, look at that. Interesting choice here. Actually switched it over to the meta. Instead of going to Sparky, normally you do see the meta come out. I kind of like this, to be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, meta drums, obviously a lot of people use it because it makes sense getting that early meta out. But this is 100% the correct play, in my opinion. I do not like meta drums. I think that it's very clunky, the way that you get the movement speed boost. And as a result, I just find it useless. I genuinely think it's useless. Like, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have extra movement speed, but getting everything into position to use the meta drum's movement speed can be very difficult, and it's niche. I think it could probably work in this matchup, though, up against the French, just because you've got the knights to deal with. Meta's got to be careful, though, not to go down. Falls back away, back towards the base, and an outpost going to be coming up for Don Artie as well. Early aggression is very strong here. Wanted still yet to throw down a second military school, just the one for now. He's going to be thinking about his next Vizier point. Should be coming through shortly. He's trained a lot of units here. Now beginning to push out. We're right on board with him as he begins tracking Don's army down towards that southwest side of the map. Picks up a couple reinforcements as well. Spahi going to be moving forward. Should be able to clean up these archers here. Gets a charge off on one of the Spahi. And that archer. So nice little job here by Wanted to clean up the mass. And we do see more upgrades coming through. Iron Undermesh, of course, going to be coming through for Don. A very important upgrade, especially against the Ottomans. Ottomans just known when they're playing their feudal age to go for those heavy archer balls. So you want to make sure that you've got as much armor as possible. Now remember, by the same token, you want to try and see that +1 ranged attack upgrade coming through for Wanted ASAP. Because that archer ball, it's going to look good, but he's maintaining some pretty decent balance in his composition here. A couple more archers moving out. Don't get caught out of position, fortunately. But now moving around, it looks like Wanted going for a bit of a raid here. Now, Wanted knows where the villagers are. He should be able to see on the minimap that, well, hold on a minute, there's only 3 deer over here. And it just takes a very quick squiz to come over here. At least that's what we say in Australia, a quick squiz, a quick look. And here you can go, there's 6 deer? Okay, so we know that there's been at least 1 deer that's killed out there. Scout on the backside, we'll spot it though. Don going to be well and truly aware. Moving units into position to try and cover for this. Not even concerned about the Spahi. Villagers still just gathering. He's just holding strong. No textiles through. So he might be able to no. I was going to say, he might be able to take out one villager. Nope. Nope. The answer is indeed in the negative. Down over to... Look at Don. Oh my god, he's stealing away a boar on the other side of the map. Don Artie. Beautiful stuff coming out from the Don already. I'm loving this kind of style from him. When did he run the vills out here? It just seems so crazy. 8 villagers coming all this way across the map. When you've got access to this one, but I guess your enemy suspects you're going to take that one. Now Wanted, moving across the map. Decent sized mass here. He's got a 7 military population advantage. The Spearman going to be coming out. Don, in particular, only with the 2 knights, going to be going into archers himself, and that's dangerous. Very dangerous for Don. You do not want to play an archer game with the Ottomans. And the main reason is because of the meta. Extra attack speed or extra armor, whichever you choose. Normally when you're going for archer wars, you'll go for extra attack speed. And you just don't want to play that. One of the best archer civs in the game here. Don on the defensive. He's picking up more and more upgrades. We see the next upgrade going to be coming through, Chivalry. Villagers might have to jump inside the outpost. Indeed they do. Manage to get to safety. And now Don going to be pushing forward. Looking to probably focus down the meta here. Meta number 1. Not going to be focused down. He had the opportunity to take it out. Knights now moving through. Don beginning to focus down the spears. The knight numbers are really lacking. Where is Don's resources right now? Because the numbers here from Don are very, very small. But still, it's not going to matter. I've got no idea where Wanted's army went as well. How did Don's army... It felt like the armies were probably even right there. But still, Wanted, he's in trouble. Don's going to clean him up here. Was it just the archer mass not being focused down? It could have been. Meta manages to get out an expensive unit. But definitely getting taken by surprise right there. All of the forces here get cleaned up. Don doesn't lose a single vill. No vills taken down this game. It's a good game for the Ottomans if they haven't lost a vill to the French knights yet. Nice little secure walls coming back up, but at this point, I think Wanted probably just needs to fall back. Could even think about going for a castle age. I think a castle age here might be nice for him. Just to look for those crossbows or janissaries could be really good here, just knowing that the French knights are going to be potentially taking him out. But now, more and more units coming through, and look at the production. If there's one thing I love about the Ottomans, it's the production. Off a single blacksmith, look how good Wanted is at positioning this. You know, we see some players that just don't really do it that well, but Wanted's obviously got a very good understanding of how he wants to position these buildings for the most optimal placement. Very well done. Spearman going to go down, and now he's in a bit of a tough spot. Needs to try and find that production, bring it forward. You can see he's got not a lot of units in queue. There we go. Now queuing up 3 archers. 1, 2, 3. Be right on board with him. Have a look at... We've got 3 archery ranges, 1 barracks, 2 stables, and 3 military schools. All within the influence of a single blacksmith. And he's still got space for more. That's the crazy part. I reckon he can probably fit another barracks here and another archery range on the corner if he wanted to. Remember, you can always throw down the MIA as well. The Mehmed Imperial Armory. But you want to make sure you do that in the influence of the blacksmith. It can always be hard to find a spot for it. You don't want to put it out here either. Could get interrupted. Don continues scooting around the outside. Fortunately for Wanted, he's got these nice little walls down to the south, which will alert him. Also gives him an option for a flanking maneuver, which we do see happening. Now, interestingly, no scout coming out from Wanted here, so he's not going to have a whole lot of information about the positioning on Don's army at this point. But now Don coming through, managing to make his way down. Will get scouted out. You can see the gate's got slightly larger line of sight. Now beginning to work down the first of the palisade walls. Wanted could be in a really beautiful spot here. He's got that tri-unit comp. Both players actually going tri-unit comp, and we enter into the cinematic mode as the Spy begin making their way onto the front line. Knights doing a decent job to repel, but still the Spearmen managing to make their way through, but Don's got reinforcements on the backside. He took the fight thinking he could easily have this, but now all of a sudden the Knight numbers are starting to look really good for Don. Don continuing to clean up the archers. The Knight numbers really not faltering at this point. More Sparky going to be rallying in. He's got a couple more units over on that backside, but he's going to have to fall back. Sparky numbers coming through. It sounds like the next Vizier point's going to be coming, but it's nothing to help in this fight right now. If anything, it's a distraction. Speaking of distraction, the meta going to go down as Wanted is a little bit distracted. More reinforcements, unfortunately, just rallied towards that front line, getting eaten alive, but he's able to fall back. Still finding a nice little point in the pocket. Wanted going to continue forcing back the troops here from Don. And it's a decent hold, but at the same time, the question is how much longer can he hold for? because the troops for Don are just going to keep coming through. And look at the score difference right now. What is that? Where is that coming from? It doesn't look like it should be that much. And at the same time, a couple of knights managed to go behind enemy lines, managed to take out those villagers that are over on the hunt towards that west side. And now more knights going to be moving around. Spears jumping out, going to be looking to try and take out a couple of the knights here. But unfortunately, the reinforcements for Don are just huge. He's managed to overpower his enemy at this point, and now villagers are going to be taken out. We head back, get that UI back in right now, Drongo. We want to see how many villagers have gone down. He's lost 8 so far. That is a huge amount of villagers that have gone down, and Wanted in a lot of trouble here. I think it just all goes back down to that little aggressive play he made over here on the east side. He really lost a lot of his mass there. You're not playing to your strengths when you're pushing out as the Ottomans like that. Your strengths are around the 45, 50 archer mark, where you can start thinking about doing real damage to the enemy knights. You can start looking at two-shotting them. You can see right there, 190 health is going to mean that you need 45 archers to two-shot them. At least I think it's is it 45? Let me do the math right here. So you got 4 armor, 6 damage, which means 2 damage a shot, which means that I need 95 shots, which means that I would need 48. I need 48 archers to two-shot. That's some quick math for you right there. But that's the critical point, because you want to be looking to two-shot down these Royal Knights, kiting back with them constantly. But speaking of Royal Knights right now, Wanted going to be in a little bit of trouble as the Knights continue to head past. Finding a beautiful spot there on that back line. Does fortunately have textiles in. It will delay the death a little bit longer for those villagers, but he's now lost an additional 5 villagers. Also deletes the lumber camp so that he can try and squeeze that villager through. Not going to have a whole lot of luck there, unfortunately, though. Still Wanted, holding on for dear life. He's down 30 population at the moment. Never a good spot to be against the French. French up 20 villagers. Now, don't write him off just yet. He's still got a lot of things that are going his way. He's got the military schools. He's got the vizier points. So don't count him out just yet. But definitely Don having a great time. And look at this expansion around the map. Don going to be going for trade. Don going to be going for trade. Look at the trade. Just absolutely beautiful stuff already coming out from him. This is going to be top-level trade as well. I'm suspecting, is that right against the edge of the map? That's 176 right there. 173. Oh, geez, Don, you almost had me. You almost had me right there. But now that military school on the front side might be going down. The numbers here not looking good at all for Wanted. He's trying to hold on. Spearmen continuing to plop out, but still the archers are just so damn strong together with the knights. And it's just it. You can't make a mistake like this against the French. And the French are able to just turn the tables so quickly when you do because of the power of the knights. But by the same token in this matchup, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening because Wanted shouldn't have been in his base in the early game. It should have been Don that was in his base in the early game. And it all goes back to that beginning because Don was uninterrupted, whereas Wanted was. And he's able to really leverage that. And we can see the power now, the knight superiority, just going to be able to take out the rest of the archers. And it makes it very difficult for Wanted. Now, you can't really camp the Ottomans just because they've got non-stop production coming out. You can see right here, the 3 military schools still working overtime, trying to get out more and more spearmen. And once again, you know, we see the Ottoman hold on. This is a civilization. You know, we talk about defensive civs. Needs to get Vils out here to repair this military school ASAP as well. But we talk about civs that you can't really push in. You know, English are a great example of one that you just probably shouldn't push against just because of how strong their town center is. And their other defensive bonuses, obviously the longer range archers. They've also got things like the influence that they gain. The, what's it called? Jeez, come on, Trongo. Network of citadels, network of castles, network of... Yeah, the network. You guys know the network. Yeah, the network. And a little bit of a mistake right here from Wanted to push out. This is definitely not the time nor place to push out Wanted. You want to be building your mass, sir, but I guess you're behind on villagers. You got to go for a Hail Mary at this point. And Don Artie, I mean, he's not going to need a Hail Mary right now. He has just got himself a nice little... Yeah, he's got himself a nice little force. The trade is happening behind this as well. And I think this trade is just so smart. And I think it's part of the reason that the trade is probably going to get nerfed in the future. It's so easy to transition into trade right now. You don't have to put down 700 resources or 750 resources for a town center and slowly scale that bad boy up. You just drop down 3 markets and spam out traders non-stop. This one doesn't even need to make it. He's got 12 traders on it already. And these guys are as efficient as 1.5 villagers right now doing this trade. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And it just secures that extra advantage that Don's got. Now he throws down the Royal Institute as well, which is going to seal the deal. Surely he's got more stables going to be coming up behind this, just looking to spam out knights in the transition period. Needs to make sure that he's got plenty of gold for when he ages up, because once he ages up, he's going to need to be looking for that Royal Bloodlines tech. That's going to be a real key factor here. So we'll watch and wait and see how he plays it. Another mill going to be going down. More villagers moving across. A little bit of an absence of gold miners at this point in time. He's got 8 gold miners. There they are, down on the south side of the map. And Don just having a field day right now. What does Wanted do from this position? I mean, he's in a really tough spot. To be honest, I feel like there's no real way that Wanted can win this. He can't kill the trade because the enemy's got knights. The enemy's also Castle Age. So he can't kill the trade. So he's going to lose to trade in the long run because the economics are just too great. And then at the same time, he can't make any town centers because the trade's going to outdo him and it scales much more quickly than town centers do. And even if he did, he would die in the meantime to the inevitable push that's going to be coming, which is the elite, well, not elite knights, but veteran royal knights, together with the royal bloodlines and the candled saddles. He's got all the upgrades coming through right now for these knights, and I suspect he's probably going to be queuing up plenty more knights. We see 1 in queue at the moment, but that's the short end of it. Now I know why he's only got 8 villagers on gold. Because he's got traders. Oh, Drongo. You're such a Drongo. You guys know what Drongo means? It's an Australian word. It means like idiot, basically. But it's kind of like an old word. We don't really use it that much. The name actually comes from the Simpsons episode. Bart versus Australia. Look it up. It's a funny episode. Probably one of the best episodes that there are of The Simpsons. I would definitely encourage you to go watch it. But now Wanted. I mean, what kind of decision does he make from here as to how he can hold? I think he's probably going to drop another military school ASAP. Needs to try and age up, but at the same time needs to make spearmen. And we can see he's actually called the Janissaries out. That is so painful. Where's the Janissaries? He called the Jans, and there's only 4 Jans. So underwhelming. And if he could have got Castle Age, saved that point for Castle Age, dropped a military school as soon as he ages up, and then call the Jans, then he has a chance to hold, right? Because 8 Janissaries, they're not gonna. How much damage does a Janissary do? I think it's 32. 32 damage versus cavalry. So 32. I mean, 8 Janissaries, pretty close to one-shotting it. I'd have to do the math there, but I suspect they would. I don't actually know whether the armor value is counted here because it is. Oh no, it is a ranged weapon. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to do the math on that. But speaking of doing the math right now, Don Artie, he's done the math and he reckons he can take this fight. Plenty of units, though, coming out from Wanted. He's managed to build up a pretty decent force, but keep in mind, he's still in the feudal age. Archer's moving forward. Spahi going to be hitting the backline, but the knight numbers are superior, and the knights are what matters here. Still the Janissaries trying to tap off, trying to hold on for dear life. But Don Artie, he's once again going to get forced back from this. You just can't take him out, man. You just can't take out these Ottoman players. The units are just, there's just too many units. I think you can't, what's it called? Man fight, like where you beat the chest towards each other. But he's managed to do it all right. Like, he's still got the 3 knights in, and that's going to be able to seal the deal here, at least for the moment. But Spear's going to come on, and Wanted's going to hold on a little bit longer. Now, I don't even think he knows about the Don Artie trade, and I think that's kind of the crazy bit, right? We pull this up right now, the income per minute. Don Artie sitting on 1,600 gold a minute compared to his enemy on 240, and he manages to push him away. He's got that extra ranged armor, so he's sitting on 6 ranged armor at the moment. Was there a wolf behind? There's a wolf behind. Wolf Warwick getting in on the action. Look at that. Let's ride on board with Don. I just want to check. Where are we? There we are. 25 traders now for Don. It's just like, this is just a crazy trade economy that he's got going on. And just to clean up. And now this is the part that he dies to, right? Because the inevitable is just that there's only knights. At this point, as the French, you just make only knights and you win. You can beat straight spearmen 100%, just because not only do you have veterancy, but you've also got royal bloodlines. And good game gets called. Ladies and gentlemen, go check out Wanted SAS. I'll leave a link in the description to his Twitch page where he's streaming live, probably right now. And go check out Don Artie as well, a great friend of mine and also a great content creator. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.